Hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk about 10 items that you can bring to improve your Royal Caribbean cruise experience. These are items that we bring on our cruises and they just make the trip more enjoyable, and they're just little minor things that you can do to make it a better experience overall. The first thing I wanted to mention was bringing magnetic hooks. So in case you didn't know, when you're in the rooms on the cruise ships, they have metal walls. It doesn't look like it necessarily. It looks like normal walls, but they are in fact magnetic. So what we do is we bring magnetic hooks, and you can put them anywhere you want on the wall. And you can hang things from them, such as the hats for when you go to the pool. We put our lanyards on there that have the key cards for our room. Just various items that you can hang on the wall, and it just makes it very convenient for trying to keep your room organized, which is going to be smaller than what you're used to in a hotel or back where you come from. The second item I wanted to mention is one that is not something that people typically mention, but it is a hack that we figured out, and it makes your experience so much better overall, is to bring a Samsung TV remote for your room. Now, the reason we're saying this is because they do have Samsung TVs, but as you know, they already have the programming on there, which is very basic. It has a couple of channels. It has some movies on there that you have to pay to watch. But if you bring a Samsung TV remote, you can actually change the inputs on it. And what we did is we brought our Roku with us, and that just runs on an HDMI cable. So you can plug your Roku into your TV, and it basically turns into a smart TV. But the remote they give you will not allow you to change the inputs. So if you bring a generic Samsung TV remote, you can actually do that. Another thing I want to point out with installing the Roku or similar device is that these TVs are on the wall typically. It looks like you can't get behind them, but they're actually on a magnetic swivel or a magnetic, I don't know what you call it, a magnetic mount. So if you pull on it, like, don't try and rip it off the wall, because maybe there'll be some boats that might be different. But in our experience, they actually flip out, and you can get behind the TV and have access to the HDMI port or whatever ports you need to be able to plug in an HDMI cable to go to your Roku. And then from there, you can have whatever programs you want on there, whether it be Disney Plus or Netflix. You can log into your account as long as you have internet package, and you can watch those TV shows or movies on the TV. And I know that you're on a cruise, so it's not necessarily something you're looking to do is to spend all your time in your room, but it is nice to be able to have that as an option. The third thing I wanted to mention that you could possibly bring, which makes your experience better, is bring your own creamer and sweetener. Yes, they do have sugar and half and things like that for your coffee, but they don't necessarily have all the flavors that you may want or that you prefer back home. So for myself, I prefer to use stevia, which is not something that they carry on the boat. So we bought a box of the little stevia packets, and we keep that in our room. And whenever I had my coffee, I put my stevia in it. And then we also had little individual cups of creamers. My wife prefers French vanilla, which again is not something that they're going to keep in stock on the boat. So she had her little French vanillas. I just used half and half, so I was fine. But we had the little individual ones. You just peel off the top and pour it in your cup. And that just makes your experience a lot. It makes your coffee more accustomed to what you have at home and not necessarily going without. In my experience, the coffee on the cruise ships is typically very strong and just doesn't taste as well as what I'm used to having back home. So I like being able to put in my stevia, put in my half and half, or for my wife, she puts in the French vanilla and sugar, and she has it the way she likes it at home. The fourth item I wanted to bring up was passport. The passport is not a required document when you're traveling out of the United States. If you are a United States citizen and you're leaving from the United States and you're going to other countries, it is not required you bring your passport. You're able to get on the boat with your birth certificate and another form of ID, but I'm telling you that I suggest you bring the passport. It just makes it easier when you're checking in, because you, instead of having to have your birth certificate plus another document, another ID, you just can use your one, which is the passport. But the bigger reason is that in the small chance that you get off the boat in another country and for some reason you don't get back on board, you'll be very thankful that you have your passport. Your passport's going to be your ticket home if for some reason you had to, heaven forbid, you had to go to a local hospital there and you couldn't make it back to the boat, or if you just missed the boat for whatever reason. If you get stuck in another country, that passport is going to be your ticket for you to be able to get back home. Number 5 is a mesh laundry bag. And we like to get the one that it stands about waist high and you can just throw your dirty laundry in it. It's just when you're on a cruise, you just need to be able to maximize the space that you have and keep it organized. So this is a an item that we bring that makes us stay organized or helps us stay organized. And that's because you're obviously going through your clothes throughout the day, your swimsuits, and we bring a laundry bag so that way we can put all our dirty laundry in it. And at the end of the trip, we have it all in one central location rather than having to go through our laundry and figure out what's clean, what's dirty. So for us, it's just something that works really well. And I would recommend bringing some kind of laundry bag. We use a mesh laundry bag. Number 6, your own set of snorkels and flippers. Now, when you go to places such as Coco Cay, they do let you rent snorkel and flippers, but over time, I've learned that it's more cost beneficial if you just buy a set on Amazon before you go on the trip and bring it with you. Yes, it takes up a little more space because you have to pack it, but you're paying about $30 to $40 for a set. And when you go to the island, if you were trying to rent it, it's going to be about that for one-time use. So now every time I go on a cruise, I have my snorkels, or I have my snorkel and my flippers, and I never have to pay that money when I go to these destinations to rent the equipment that paid for itself after one time of using it. Number 7, luggage tags for Royal Caribbean. What I mean by that is if you go online and type in cruise luggage tags, you'll see ones that are rectangular in shape that are the same size as the tags you print out for Royal Caribbean, and they are much better than just taking the pieces of paper that you print out for Royal Caribbean luggage tags and stapling them to your bag. They come with like a screw-in little circular lock. They're waterproof. They keep your tag obviously dry, and it's super convenient having the luggage tag that you officially buy on Amazon as opposed to trying to make the paper one that you print out just stapled to your luggage. Number 8, bring rubber ducks to hide for other guests to find. Now, this is something that we've had a lot of fun with, especially since we have an 8-year-old son, is that there's a whole subset of people or a group of people that when they go cruising, they like to hide little rubber duckies. And they typically put a little note on them that give the people that find it like a check-in online so you know that they found your duck. And this is just a good, clean, fun thing that you can do on the boat that our son gets a lot of enjoyment out of. I think we brought about 50 rubber ducks on the last cruise, and throughout the cruise, like we didn't hide them all at once. Every day we'd hide a few, and it was fun for him to hide them, but it was also fun for him to find some. Like throughout the cruise, we also found a few, probably 5 to 10 that we found, and it's so exciting when you come across a rubber ducky, and you find it. You just feel like you accomplished something great, and it's always nice to leave that feedback to whoever left it, and I don't know, it's just a fun activity you can do on the cruise ship that doesn't cost any money, that a lot of people are doing now. And I guess it does cost you money in buying the rubber ducks, but it's totally worth it. Number 9, I'm going to say, is to bring a Yeti cup or a similar drinking device that keeps your drinks cold. And the reason I say this is because we typically get the soda package when we go on cruise ships, and those cups are fine. They do a good job of being able to you can have your drink and carry it around. But what I found is they do not do a good job of keeping your drink cold when you're sitting outside in the warm environment, around the pool or wherever you're going. The drink warms up very quickly to the outdoor air temperature. And on this last cruise, we brought a Yeti cup with us, and I noticed a significant difference in terms of the drink staying cold and not warming up. Now, I get it. You can't take the Yeti cup and put it into the Coke dispenser and have it give you Coke. What you can do is you can take your Royal Caribbean cup, fill it up, and then pour it in the Yeti cup, and that works just fine. The last item I wanted to mention is not actually an item that you bring, but it's just something that you can do to make your experience more satisfying and less stressful, and that is to prepay the gratuities. It doesn't sound like a lot when you're going on a cruise and you hear that they're going to tack on, I think it's about $17.50 or $14.50 a day per person for gratuity. You're like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal, but it adds up very quickly, especially when you have 4 people like we do. So you're adding $60-some a day in gratuity, and you may have gone into this vacation already have paid for everything and already like set a budget for what you'd spend on the boat, or maybe you didn't want to spend anything on the boat and you just wanted to be able to enjoy the vacation and know that everything was paid for. Prepaying the gratuities will ensure that you can accomplish that if you don't want to spend any more money. And it's very annoying if you didn't prepay and you wanted to not spend any more money to see it accumulate every day, $64 a day, 64, 128. It adds up very quickly. So by the end of the cruise, you owe several $100s and you're like, man, I really wish I would have prepaid that so I don't have to deal with this and worry about budgeting for that extra expense. Now, there's a whole lot of other things that could be mentioned as items that you could bring to improve your cruise experience. These are just 10 that came to mind that I thought were not the ones that people always mention that could enhance your cruise experience. So go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know if you can think of any other items or anything that we missed, or if you think any of these are things that make sense or that you think was a good idea that you never would have thought of before. All right, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.